Welcome all of you here in this quick session where I will discuss the importance of reading comprehensions in SSC CGL Tier 2 examinations. Years ago, let me just say quickly, we had 200 questions in Tier 2, 45 questions and such from close test, huge weightage I would say of RC's close tests and such. Today also after 2022, when we have 45 questions in CGL Tier 2 examination, we have 15 questions, I repeat, 15 out of 45, exactly 33.33 marks from one topic alone. And the topic where we need not mug up anything. This is grammar. I was not aware of this concept. That's vocabulary. I did not know the meaning of this word. Nothing we have to bring from our own side. Everything is there in the passage. You just read it, analyze that, sorry, and answer the questions out there. Welcome once again. For Tier 2 aspirants appearing in SSC CGL 2025 Tier 2 examination, I will be putting some important points from my side that will surely help you grab RCs more precisely now and in time if we are able to solve them. And yes, one thing I'll be discussing, what should we do? We should read the questions first. We should read the passage first. Let's discuss in detail. RCs are based on three basic concepts. Some are fact-based RCs. There we have information clearly stated. According to the census of 2011, 47% of people such and such and such. There, we need not waste time. Just grab the question, pick that information. Okay, I'll discuss in detail. Factual information, fact-based informations, RCs. Inferential, where we have to infer. Statements may not be clearly stated, but we have to infer them. And the vocabulary based understanding also. Because in banking examinations, it has been common for decades. They ask vocabulary in context as per the passage. For example, if I say a word fine, what is the meaning of fine? Simplest example I can mark here. Fine. Not sure about that, because if that's an adjective, I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. It's a positive word. You'll have to pay 500 rupees for this. Why did you park your car here? That's a negative word. So vocabulary in context there in the passage. Apart from that, question types includes direct questions, the fact-based ones, the inference-based ones, time, tone, theme, structure, title, and of course the vocabulary-based questions also we usually come across. As I mentioned, they have the huge weightage, 33.33% in Tier 2 examination. 15 questions out of 45 are from RCs. 3 RCs, 5 questions each. So honestly, if you master RCs, if out of those 15 you get 13 or 14, you have huge weightage already covered in SSC examination, particularly in English Tier 2. So please don't take this lightly. And I repeat again and again and again that this is something we need not bring from our own side, like grammar, like vocabulary. No, instantly reading there, answering. But for that, we need to have good reading skills. RC carries high weightage in the English language and comprehension paper, high scoring area with accuracy if approached systematically. Common myths. RC is about reading fast. Of course, but not skipping facts, not skipping data. If your speed is such, of course you should read fast, but not reading fast is a key point for RCs. That's weird. Grammar is enough. Not always grammar is enough in RCs. A number of times I have come across considered as. Consider is not followed by as, you know this, but in RC there was a question. Let it be. What can I do? The inference questions are just guesswork. No, it's not a test of general knowledge. It's a test of the data given in the passage. You have to answer exactly what's marked in the passage. Always remember, RC is a skill that combines comprehension, your logic, your time management, not just your reading skills or speed. Some more points to consider. Initially, okay, I have written a line here. Yes, would love to show this first. Read the questions first for a fact-based RC, because for example, that's a 2-page RC. You will waste a lot of time Read the questions first. In 2011, what was the data for GDP? I'll go to the passage GDP 2011. Yes, yes, yes. Here I can grab and click the answers straight. So reading questions is better for the fact-based RCs, because there we need not use our brain. Exactly the data is mentioned, we can pick that. For inference-based RCs, you can't just read the questions and read the lines out there. Answers have to be found. You have to read between the lines now. You have to infer. That's not clearly stated. Passage should be read first for the inference-based RCs in order to understand the context. And then you can answer the questions, because direct lines shall not be available here. It's always better to skim an RC, need not read each and every word in the beginning step by step. Just quickly grab, okay, talking about politics, oh, demonetization, that was a bad decision, I thought that was good. Okay, and such and such and such. So you clearly know what is mentioned in the passage, what is it's all about. Later on, I can just highlight some keywords in my mind. The first paragraph was doing this, was discussing this. The third paragraph was discussing that. The fifth paragraph was discussing this. Fine, just 5 to 6 keywords in my mind. Once I go back to the RC, from questions, I know what is asked, I know where that is mentioned. Will help me save time and answer precisely. Skim the passage first, quickly get the topic, what they are discussing, tone, how they are discussing, structure, how it is going ahead. Note the keywords in the first sentences, not just sentence I said, and last sentences of a paragraph. You know what they are going to discuss or what they have discussed. In between, you yourself have to ask some questions. Who did that? Who said that? What has been done? Why was this policy adopted? How can we overcome this situation? And always notice if we come across some contrast, some cause and effect, or some examples. They are usually considered. They are usually asked. This is quite informative point I've marked. Not just one line applies to all the RCs. For the fact-based, read the questions first. Okay, even before that, I would say skim the RC, because how would you know that's a fact-based RC or inference-based RC? Just have a look at the RC in less than a minute, go through that. Then you can decide which way to go. Elimination method. I'm sure everyone who has prepared enough knows this. Elimination is more beneficial than direct answers. No, it wasn't there in the passage. No, this is something they are saying from there. No, this is totally crossing the tone of the passage. All in all, that has to be the answer. Eliminate. Prefer evidence-based reasoning. Not assume, but clearly stated things in the passage have to be considered. Rule out options that distort the tone of the RC. Exaggerate things out there. Contradict the passage, and they can easily be eliminated. And we are left with sometimes one or sometimes two sentences. We can pick then. Choosing out of 4 or choosing out of 2 is always easy. Just like 50-50 from KBC is already applied. 5 minutes, I would say, will be sufficient for any RC, including questions or reading questions. Rely on rereading after skimming. We need not read the RC fully once, every line. It may waste your time. You are supposed to save time also. Time management is equally important, equally. Read the annotations and scanning. Some examples to portray. Okay, in between I'm saying, at the end I would say, next week on YouTube, I will take classes on RCs. So one is requested to be here. We will practice pretty much. I repeat, next week we will have classes on RCs for Tier 2, SSC CGL of course. Stay connected, would love to see you in those classes. Will emphasize RCs, various RCs from my side. Okay, some question type and approach and example cue. The fact-based RCs have questions like, according to the passage, okay, so according to the passage, that must have been stated clearly in the passage. Let's scan for direct data in the passage. The inference-based, the logical one, where things are not directly stated, it can be inferred that when the author said this, he was okay. It can be inferred. So we have to read between the lines now. We'll have to understand the hidden meaning, rely on the tone, the implications, the theme, the topic. A number of times they ask vocabulary in context. Driver, I remember there was a passage of cars. Honestly, I'm not just putting an example, that's a real situation. There was an RC in banking, if I'm not wrong, on cars, and there was this one word driver. They had a question, which of the words is the synonym antonym, I don't remember, for driver, but they were not talking about the drivers of the cars. This is a key driver for the economy, something that drives the economy. If you talk about cars, you say driver, I would also think of the same, but the passage used the word driver in a different tone. In computers also we have drivers. My audio driver is not working. My video driver is not working. So just not just the meaning of the word in general, in context. Grab the tone, the attitude. Okay, yes. The word this means in the passage. Okay, I'll check the passage and we'll answer then. Don't answer directly. That's not the vocabulary. That's vocabulary in context. Remember this. The tone of the passage, the attitude of the author. The author's tone is clearly stated when he said, okay, I'll check. Identify some interjections. If he has used something, must be stated. Otherwise, they can't ask. Some neutral tone he may have throughout the passage, maybe critical, maybe appreciating, maybe negative. And you better know the title of the passage, the theme of the passage, the tone of the passage. They always ask, always, always, always. Main idea or theme, best title of the passage, summary of the passage. There you must know the central idea of the passage. One line cannot define the central idea. Okay, some common mistakes to avoid. If we read the passage word for word, will consume a lot of time. We'll skip questions then for sure. Don't do that. If you ignore the tone and transitions, how things changed or when things changed, you may read the RC differently than what is stated. Quite meaningful line. Listen to me. Choosing options, this is a mistake. With absolute words like always, like never. What happened in 2021, according to a census, it was found that this and that happens. In the passage, this and that happens. Okay. In the options, this and that always happens. It's there in the passage. No, it's not there in the passage. It happened in 2021, for example. It doesn't happen always. He denied he would not go there today. You didn't see the word today. It said never in the options. Distorted sentences must not be picked. Focus on these words. I must write one more right now. One more. Which of these would not match this or that? And we didn't read not. We are putting yes, this is there in the passage. This is the answer. But the author is asking which of these is not stated there. Some final tips out there for you. For CGL 2025 Tier 2, practice at least one RC daily, maybe from mock tests, maybe from previous year papers, so that you have that reading skills, you know how to infer answers, how to grab the tone of the RC, the theme of the RC, the title of the passage, the structure in such questions. If you do that daily, practice makes a man perfect. We better know that. Build vocabulary and reading speed using editorials. Better than the best, I need not define this line. Revise those key strategies. First of all, having a preview, just a general overview of the passage, then reading it actively if required. If that's an inference-based RC, if that's a fact-based, need not read that. Jumping to the questions directly then. Verifying data. Remember, that's not a test of general knowledge. Everything has to be answered from the passage given. So don't assume or don't answer subjectively and then click the answer. I repeat, just have a quick look, then read actively. If you think it has to be read, go to the questions, verify the answer from the passage and then answer. Done. It should be correct. last but not the least line, I would love to say consistency in practice converts your comprehensions into confidence. For that, regular practice is mandatory. In these words, I would love to finish now, but I would request you to be here next week on YouTube for free for RC classes for Tier 2. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye, take care, be safe. Yes, a batch has also started, not promoting, just informing. If one wishes to, can be a part of that also. I emphasized it's 9th. No, it's not 9th today. Today we have an offer also, valid till tomorrow. On Valmiki Jayanti, till 9th of October, one can grab flat 40% off and 2 times validity on SSC or railway subscriptions. Do check using the code CELEB. And yes, it is valid till 9th of October. In the courses section, we have started a couple of courses which are quite new. Would love to show. Inform. The CGL Tier 2 crash course with revision and practice. English Medium 1, English Medium 1. And the CGL 2026 complete foundation course from scratch. The English Medium 1, the English Medium 1. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye. See you in the classes pretty soon. Next week for RCs. If you have any objection, feel free to drop in the comments. Would love to answer. Thank you. See you soon. All the best.